Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I wanted to continue to talk about the fallen life and salvation from the fallen life. So let me see if I can tie up some loose ends for you. This is my third video in the series. I said that we have a fallen existence that consists of two things. First of all, it's an animal existence where we have to eat and drink and breathe and work and do all the things that animals do. And as such, that's what we are born with. That's what we inherit. Okay? So it's not to be condemned or condoned. I'm repeating some of the things I said in the previous video, but it needs to be understood. And then we also have an ego life. And this ego life is basically a life of compensation. Everything that has been lost in the spirit is compensated for in the flesh. So even the animal body itself that we have is a compensation for what was lost. And the earthy life, the fallen earthy life, is a compensation for the spiritual life that we lost. And the animal life and breath, which is what awaits all animals. Death awaits all animals. That's what we inherit. And it's a substitute for eternal life. Okay? Now, everything that we do as egos is a compensation for what was lost. And that's why loss is some kind of a spur to seeking gain or to seek replacement. If somebody takes something of yours, then your immediate impulse is to take it back or to take it from someone else. When you lose something, then you want to get even, or you want to make up for it. A lot of people feel that they lost something. They lost dignity, they lost respect, they lost love, or they feel they were denied it. And maybe they were. Okay? But the point I'm getting at here is that either you really were denied it, whatever you think you lost, or you thought you were denied it, or through your overreaction you lost it, but then blamed others. See, for example, if you become resentful. See, a lot of us become resentful when we're young because we're pressured. And our only response that we can think of as egos, not even think of, but it just comes natural, is to resent. Okay? But the problem with resentment is that it cuts you off from your inner ground of good. See, we have with us this potential of this other life. See, we actually have there are two lives and two possible destinies. See, we have this potential. We have two lives and a potential and two destinies, and one or the other, either the death or eternal life. That's what we have. So we sense, deep down, we sense that life is more than just eating, drinking, and partying, and grabbing for the gusto, and putting others down, and to build yourself up, or building others up to build yourself up, and all that sort of thing. We sense that there has to be more to life than that, and more than just exercising and eating and jogging and weightlifting. But what happens is that when you resent other people, when you resent someone, then resent anything actually, then you're cut off from this inner ground, from which you get this sense, this hunch that life should be more. So you're cut off from it. So when you're cut off from it, you feel empty. Here, let me keep it real simple. When you resent, you're cut off from love. You can't love and resent at the same time. Whatever love is, there is such a thing as love, real love. You're cut off from it. And then you feel empty. So all you have to do is resent someone or something, and then you feel empty. And then you feel unloved, and then you want to fill the void. See? Empty, and then you want to fill it. So how do you fill the void? Well, you look for love in the world. Okay? And then you're disappointed, and you resent that, and then you feel loveless all over again. And you try to fill the void, you keep looking for love in the world to fill the void. Or you love yourself with food, or music. See, food is a popular way for people to try to fill the emptiness. Fill up the emptiness with talking and socializing and Facebook and texting and food and marijuana and alcohol and music and entertainment and, see, filling up every minute with something, but it's a substitute. Okay? So the world, those in charge, the ones that, they really know what's going on, see? You don't. But they do. And they know how to get to you. And they know how to keep you in line. And they know how to keep you going for the carrot that they dangle in front of you. And they know how to make you go for the carrot that they have dangling in front of you. I'm sure you've heard the old proverbial example of the donkey. And the driver of the donkey has a long stick with a carrot on a string and dangles it in front of the donkey. And the donkey keeps moving forward to get the carrot. That's how he keeps the donkey moving. But the carrot is ever in front of him, ever out of reach. Okay? Well, they know how to get you to reach. And the way they do it is they take something away from you. See? And that makes you empty and want to reach for some replacement. So whether something is stolen from you outright or they let it be stolen. See? Or whether you're denied something, like love, like you're rejected or, teased or abandoned, It makes you crave love. Or they tell you that you're inferior. See? They tell you that somebody else is making you inferior, which the others may not be. In fact, they probably aren't. But they, the ones in charge, that get rich on your weakness, that get power from your weakness. See? They get power, they get respect, they get homage, they get awards. So they get all these things by gingering you up so that you feel like you've lost something, and they tell you that they can help you get it back. See? This is game. But it means power to them, and wealth to them, and accolades to them, and riches to them. See? And when they're done, see, they promise you something. But when they're done, you're no better off, you're worse off for having followed them instead of following the true path within. So do you see how when the ego, the natural impulse is to want to compensate. When we're little, the compensations are natural. Okay. And so we build our little ego self, our little ego body. And the way we grow as compensating egos, remember, something was lost originally. Eternal life was lost. Our relationship with God was lost. God's approval was lost. So all of this was lost. Paradise was lost. True joy was lost. It was all lost. And so we're born as little animals into this bleak world, presided over by people who are lost. They have lost and they are lost. Okay? And so all we can do is compensate as little egos. So we do. And we take in bits of information from the environment. We admire people. We imitate people. We follow people. We look up to people. See? In order to take in little bits and pieces of possible, let's say this, ways of growing. But then when we're traumatized, we also take in bits and pieces of ways of growing. If somebody does something to us, or when you become resentful and hate someone, for example, then you take in those bits and pieces. But around those bits and pieces, like data, computer data, images, see, you take them in, and somehow from them you grow. Flesh grows up around them. See, in the Bible it talks about the Word becoming flesh. Well, as a little ego, you take in these bits and pieces of what you think will help you to grow to be a big ego. See, as a little child, you dream of being a great heroine, a great hero, a princess. See, a prince, a mighty warrior, a beautiful lady, a successful person. See, you dream of these things. And you dream of love for your ego. Okay? And so everything you do is compensation. And everything you do is to grow into the ego that you want to be. Okay? And so you see others, seemingly successful people or beautiful people or popular people that you put on a pedestal and worship them, and so you can become like them. See, you want to become like them. And maybe you know someone who is, if you're lucky, you know someone who's good or decent or brave. Maybe your dad or your mom, noble. If they're noble people, then you admire them. You want to be like them. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's all perfectly natural. Okay? But so you grow as a little ego to become a big ego. Okay? And then you're a big ego. But now becomes the excessive compensation. See? And because along the way, when you lose something, see, and the ego continues to be hungry for, what does the ego want? It wants praise, it wants worship, it wants admiration. See, so the ego, because there's something about the ego that wants to play God, and so we compensate. But then we continue to compensate. Now, if at a certain point when you become an adult and you've grown to full stature, see, then at a certain point, and you've gotten married and you've had kids and you've worked and you've established a trade and you've done all the things, see, then at a certain point you can begin to question and yearn for something more, seek for something more. Not resenting. See, the important thing is not to resent whatever it is that you've become, good or bad, mostly bad, okay? Because what you take in from the environment is mainly from other egos who are ambitious, who are resentful, who put you on, who make you promises, who seem to be good or seem to be something, but they're really not. See? And even if they are, then becoming them, you find out, if you become like the ones that you admired, then you'll find out what they're really like inside when you become them. You'll find out is they themselves are unhappy. They themselves are nothing but compensation. Because that's all there is. Within this system, see? But there's something outside the box. You've heard of thinking outside the box. Well, there's something outside the box that you suspect exists. You always have since you were a little child. Something good. See, something more. Okay? And what it is a returning to God. What it is to be saved from this life that leads to death. See, there's something unnatural about this animal life. We all have animal bodies that we drag around with us, and we have bodily functions, and, sometimes they're a little bit embarrassing. We're a little modest about them, aren't we? Not that they're wrong, but we can just see that there's something ignoble about our eating and bathroom and, the different things that we do. They're okay, see? But there's also something about them that's somehow not there's something about them that's animal. And we sense that we humans ought to be greater than animals. See, we ought to have this, some sort of a higher existence. We sense it. But here's the thing. Just the important thing is for you to see how it's all compensation. And the compensation is because of a loss, which began in the very beginning of the human race and then continues in your own lifetime. And everyone convinces you that you can make yourself into something without God. See? And they even the churches and the spiritual organizations and so forth, they try to convince you that you can become spiritual. See? Or find eternal life even. Within the framework of what you are now. But you have, there has to be a beyond. Something has to be added. You have to be saved from this life. You have to be saved from death. You have to be saved from compensation. See? So everything we do, education, see, trying to have nice clothes and nice house and nice cars and impress people and try to be smart and fill ourselves with knowledge, and it's all compensation. See? And then as we get older, we begin to sense that the end of all flesh that animals experience, we sense that we're heading in that direction. So then we try to look for some fountain of youth. We try to prolong our existence. Not that there's anything wrong with prolonging our existence, if that the extra time that you get is used to seek for the purpose of your existence, to seek for God, okay, and to find Him, then it would be good. But if it's simply to prolong one's existence in an ego sense, then it's not a noble endeavor. It's understandable, okay. But the point is, then we start compensating. We need comedians to make us laugh. We need some beautiful large building with fancy things inside to make us feel holy. We need music to make us feel holy. We need music to make us relax. See? We need alcohol and marijuana to make us feel better. So it's all compensation. See? And our ambitious strivings for more knowledge and more degrees and more awards, more accolades, see, it's compensation. So you have to see that as long as you keep pursuing this compensation, you're just like the donkey pursuing the carrot on the end of a stick. Okay? And you have to see that the mad compulsive, the compulsive reaching for more to fill the emptiness and to make up for what was, but the world is the one that took it away from you in the first place, took it away from the human race, and continues to take it away from you until you find salvation from it. See, so we look for someone to make up for what we lost, and we look to the very ones that took it from us, the worldly system. See, the worldly system, which is called culture. So the whole worldly matrix of helpers and government and all of it. It's the very one that took it away from you. And now it pretends that it's going to give it to you back. But it can't. Even if it could, it can't. Because what you lost was a life with God. And the world cannot give you that. Right? So part of salvation then is to see that this is the case, but not resent it. Because if you resent it, it keeps you tied to it. It keeps you, the resentment makes you want to get something from the world. Something that you just can't give up. Maybe it was something that you felt you were denied when you were a child, or you were denied. A happy home, see, love, friendship, security, see, whatever it was. You continue to claw for it, and reach for it, and pine for it, and work for it, even you can't find it. There's no security. What does someone say about Social Security? Social Security is actually social insecurity. Okay? Because what you can't, you must not put your hope, your faith, your trust, your hope in any of these worldly things. You mustn't. But don't resent them either. Okay? Because salvation lies outside the system. Okay? Christ said, my kingdom is not of this world. But He made it possible for you to enter into His kingdom. He made it possible. And you have to find that. Okay? My name is Rome.